Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thanks to all the committee members for committing to studying the crisis that is destroying our industry, causing carnage on our highways, and robbing our social network of billions of dollars each year. The CTA is comprised of 7 provincial trucking associations, and our membership has over 5,000 carrier and supplier members from across the country. In turn, these companies employ over 250,000 Canadians. I want to lead my brief opening comments with what I believe you will quickly realize about this issue, that the driver Inc. crisis in our industry is not a problem without clear and identifiable solutions. It's simply a crisis without the necessary political will to solve the problem. The issue the committee is examining is not a new one to our sector, nor should it be to the federal government. CTA has been sounding the alarm with the federal cabinet and provinces about this issue since 2018. The problems identified in 2018 have since been left to grow unchecked, and in 2025 has evolved into a full-blown crisis, a crisis of compliance, road safety, drug trafficking, human rights abuses, rampant labor law, and tax fraud. It's been allowed to become out of control. In the 2022 Fall Economic Statement, the federal government, the issue of Driver Inc. was addressed by name, with over half a page dedicated to the issue. The statement spoke about the tax and labor abuse taking place, and it stated that further details, particularly as they relate to taxation, would be revealed in the 2023 budget. At the time, the industry took this to represent the government's acknowledgement of the issue and their commitment to fix it. However, when the 2023 budget arrived, it was completely silent on the issue and has left the industry questioning why ever since. Nonetheless, we are hopeful that this study sheds a light on this issue and why it is being allowed to persist for nearly a decade. Driver Inc., what is it? As the name suggests, it simply means incorporated drivers, but of course, it is much more than just that. Driver Inc. was born in 2011 and is the offspring of the PSB tax classification, the introduction of a temporary moratorium on T4As, and the knowledge that unscrupulous trucking owners have had for a long time, that there is significant lack of enforcement and coordination between the federal departments of labor, CRA, and the provincial labor and tax equivalents. This issue does not stem from a lack of education or knowledge about the industry or governments. It's a well-thought-out scam that has expanded over the years to now incorporate immigration fraud, driver training fraud, human trafficking, the movement of contraband, and illegal cross-border shipments. This growing scam furthers the deterioration of highway safety across the country and the bankruptcy of many legitimate law-abiding trucking companies that are critical to the fabric of your communities. The unfortunate truth about this scam is that bad actors are not only winning, they are also taking over the industry and the Canadian supply chain. How does it work? Different departments have different independence tests, but some of the key components of all of them include ownership of tools, control integration, and the opportunity for profit and loss. In trucking, a Driver Inc. driver fails all of these and are virtually indistinguishable from a traditional employee. They work under the direction of the company, and the driver the company trucks. The only difference is they are coached, coerced, or elect to incorporate themselves in an attempt to masquerade as something other than an employee. For the company, they use this justification to strip workers of all their labor right entitlements under the Federal Labor Code. Together, this allows the company owner to pocket at least $20,000 to $30,000 per year per driver. On the flip side, exploiting CRA blind spots created by the T4A moratorium and a historical lack of interest in PSBs provides the opportunity to commit tax evasion. This is not hyperbole. It is verifiable fact. But ESDC and CRA have studied the issue, and both have found rampant noncompliance centered in the trucking industry, exactly as the Labor has been saying for years. We have submitted a brief to the committee that explains the problem in details, provides glimpses of the mountain of evidence that has surfaced over the years, and provides details on what is needed. These solutions include, this will be my last comments, Mr. Chair, ending the T4A moratorium immediately, implementing a Part 3 to the CRA's work on PSBs, a call to coordinate with all federal and provincial governments and agencies on national misclassification blitz in the trucking industry with real penalties, deploy CRA, RCMP, ESDC, IRCC to truck inspection stations across the country, implement new security measures for Canadian and U.S. trucks crossing the international border to end criminal ownership, which has infiltrated Canadian fleets, expedite the completion and investment into the national database by Transport Canada that will create necessary oversight and knowledge of who owns and operates these fleets and their safety records in all provinces and territories. There are also a host of other solutions that are in that larger document that you all have. Thank you again for the opportunity to address this committee, and I look forward to discussing these issues with you here today. Again, thank you very much. This is a critical issue for our industry, and thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leskowski. Next, we'll go to Ms. Splinter. Ms. Splinter, the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes, please.
Good afternoon, and thank you to Mr. Chair for the invitation to speak here today. We welcome this timely study on the examination of issues impacting Canada's trucking and logistics sector. Trucking HR Canada is a national workforce development council that works collaboratively with stakeholders in commercial transportation, public policy, training, and economic analysis, ensuring Canada's freight transportation network has the skilled workforce it needs. We offer a range of HR-related programs and resources, and we are the industry's national authority on labour market information. As a national not-for-profit, we are funded through federal and provincial grants and contributions and our own sustainable programming. We engage over 10,000 stakeholders through our communication and outreach initiatives. As the dominant mode of transportation in Canada's supply chain, the trucking and logistics sector is the most significant enabler of Canadian growth and prosperity. Our labour market data shows that 340,000 truck drivers are currently operating in Canada, reaching into every community nationwide. When we consider the priorities of Canadians today, expanding international trade, strengthening internal trade, driving economic growth, meeting housing and grocery needs, curbing inflation, the trucking and logistics sector is key, as these priorities all rely on effective goods movement. And while our nation's supply chain stability and economic viability rely on a strong trucking sector, we continue to experience job vacancies higher than other industries. Driver Inc. is a clear violation of both tax and labour compliance practiced by unethical trucking companies. Why is this a significant industry issue? It represents a black market and illegal rogue practice within the Canadian trucking sector, characterized by the deliberate misclassification of truck drivers as independent contractors rather than employees. I will speak to 3 specific areas of concern. Impact on employee protections. This misclassification is strategically deployed to circumvent mandatory tax obligations and labour regulations, enabling companies to avoid remitting income and payroll taxes, EI, CPP contributions, and other statutory employee benefits. It also circumvents obligations related to overtime pay and fundamental employee benefits. As a result, many truck drivers under this model lose vital protections, including job stability, retirement benefits, sick leave, and holiday pay. These employment standards are core to Canada's labour culture and essential to fairness and equity in the workplace. Their erosion puts employees at risk and weakens the foundation of our social safety net. 2, impact on our industry's ability to recruit and retain workers. The Driver Inc. model is directly impacting the long-term sustainability and stability of our workforce. This negative reputation fostered by these unethical practices is prompting new entrants and existing workers to seek opportunities elsewhere. There is a growing concern that the lack of labour protections will have a profound impact on the availability of skilled workers in the future. The model is a well-known practice within the industry, leading to more candidates inquiring about the model. This makes it harder for compliant fleets to recruit in an already small pool. 3, impact on Canadian priorities. With the current economic climate and trade issues, it is more important than ever that our country has a safe, secure, and compliant transportation infrastructure. This model directly impacts government tax revenue streams and also contributes to an uneven competitive landscape within the trucking industry, disadvantaging compliant carriers who adhere to labor and tax laws. The driver Inc. model is creating a rigged market where compliant carriers struggle to compete against those exploiting the model for cost savings and profit. A serious concern here is that without adequately addressing the issue, compliant carriers may be tempted to take an "if we can't beat them, join them" stance. Canada's truck drivers keep our economy and our daily lives moving. They deserve fair treatment, safe working conditions, and employers who play by the rules. The Driver Inc. model undermines all of this. It is not just a labor issue. It's a matter of ethics, equity, and national integrity. We owe it to every legitimate carrier, every worker, and every taxpayer to end this practice once and for all and build a stronger, fairer industry together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Splinter. Next, we'll go to Ms. Couture. The floor is yours. You have 5 minutes, please.
Thank you. Bon après-midi, cher président et membres du comité.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee.
Director of the Women's Trucking Federation of Canada. I've been a professional driver for 31 years, 27 of those as an owner-operator. I haul dangerous goods in a liquid chemical tanker for cross-border trade, contracted to one of Canada's largest carriers. I've traveled through all 10 provinces and the lower 48 states in every imaginable condition. That experience makes me a subject matter expert in road safety, and I am here to speak about how Driver Inc. is eroding it. I'm not just an advocate today. I am the voice of thousands of professionals, owner-operators, small carriers, instructors, and drivers who are being pushed out of the industry and by unchecked spread of Driver Inc. Financial pressure is being placed on those who follow the rules, while profit-driven actors cut corners on safety, maintenance, and training. They don't care about the drivers they put in the trucks or the public sharing the road. That's your family and mine. Driver Inc. is not innovation. It's exploitation disguised as flexibility. It misclassifies employee drivers as independent contractors, stripping them of basic protection while allowing carriers to dodge source deductions that fund social programs. These drivers lose out on benefits and face added liabilities in the event of a workplace accident. This model rewards evasion and punishes compliance. For small and mid-sized carriers, Driver Inc. is a death sentence. They're forced to compete with operators who underbid contracts by cutting corners. Owner-operators are pressured to accept rates that don't even cover costs. That's not competition, that's coercion. Insurance premiums are rising not because of individual risk, but because of overall increase in claims. Some insurers have even pulled out of the commercial market entirely. And safety. When drivers are misclassified, there's no employer oversight. No one is checking hours of service, vehicle maintenance, or training. We're seeing more fatigue-related accidents, poorly maintained equipment, and unnecessary risks on our roads. This isn't just a labor issue, it's a public safety issue. What message are we sending to the next generation? Young people see instability, exploitation, and lack of respect for the profession. A step forward is coordinated action from all levels of government. Consistent enforcement across all jurisdictions is a must, and we need a national trucking credential that protects workers, supports compliant carriers, and restores integrity to our sector. A credential that educates everyone on their rights and responsibilities. Fixing the financial deficiencies of Driver Inc. will have a mirror effect on fixing highway safety for all users. Merci de votre temps. Je suis ouverte à vos questions.
Thank you for your time. I'm open to your questions. Thank you, Madame Couture. I think Ms. Walker had some things to share as well, so over to you.
Afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Shelley Walker. I'm the CEO of the Women's Trucking Federation of Canada. I've been a professional driver for over 30 years and now lead national efforts to promote safety, equality, and integrity in trucking. Through WTFC, I support women, youth, newcomers, and underrepresented groups in building sustainable careers, and I lead the No Human Trafficking campaign to educate our industry and the public about exploitation and forced labor. Trucking is uniquely positioned to be both a target of exploitation and a frontline defense against it. That's why I'm here today to call for an end to predatory misclassification schemes like Driver Inc., which destabilize our industry and create fertile ground for trafficking. Let me be clear, we fully support the lawful owner-operator model, but Driver Inc. entirely different. It misclassifies employee drivers, strips them of protections, shifts liabilities onto individuals, and rewards carriers who cut corners at the expense of safety and fairness. Only 4.3% of truck drivers in Canada are women. Under Driver Inc., maternity leave, predictable schedules, workplace accommodations disappear, making it nearly impossible for women and other underrepresented groups to build lasting careers. If we're serious about equity, we must ensure every driver has the security that only employee status provides. We're also seeing a rise in labor trafficking. Vulnerable drivers, often newcomers, are lured into fee-heavy arrangements, then trapped by withholding their passports, phantom surcharges, and threats. This is debt bondage in emotion, a stain on our industry, and a threat to Canadian values. Predatory carriers gain up to 30% cost advantage by outsourcing wages, benefits, and safety obligations. Honest operators can't compete. Investment in training and maintenance dries up. Road safety suffers with more fatigue-related collisions, mechanical failures, and a risk for every Canadian family. WTFC has submitted a proposal for a national trucking credential, a practical, enforceable solution to restore integrity, protect vulnerable workers, and raise professional standards across Canada. The time for consultation has passed. What we need now is decisive action. By funding and implementing this credential, Canada can send a clear message. Exploitation has no place in our supply chain, and trucking will remain a profession built on fairness, accountability, and pride. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you very much, Ms. Walker. Merci, Madame Couture, and thank you both for your steadfast dedication.
Thank you, Ms. Walker.